Two groups of young workers were exposed to AI in roughly equal measure. One group saw entry-level hiring in their field fall 16%. The other group saw no decline at all. The difference wasn't the industry, it wasn't the employer. It was one specific distinction almost nobody explains correctly: automation versus augmentation. Here's a hint of how far that distinction actually reaches. Some researchers think it also explains something else entirely: why most corporate AI projects fail, while a small minority quietly succeed. We'll get to that. This is the frontier economy. Let's define the distinction properly and then use it. The terms get used constantly and defined precisely almost never. Automation means AI performs a task with minimal human involvement. It replaces the work. Augmentation means AI helps a person do the task, but a person is still deciding. This split has an academic origin older than ChatGPT. Economists Darren Acemoglu and Pasquale Restrepo studied two competing forces. One displaces a task from workers, the other reinstates work by creating new tasks only a person can do. Automation versus augmentation is really their argument in plainer language. The same AI tool pointed at two different tasks inside the same job can land on opposite sides of that line. Start with radiology, the job AI was supposed to eliminate first. In 2016, AI pioneer Geoffrey Hinton predicted hospitals would stop training radiologists within 5 years. The opposite happened. The Bureau of Labor Statistics now projects 5 to 9% job growth for radiologists through 2034. Mayo Clinic's own radiology headcount is up 55% since that prediction. AI got much better at flagging anomalies on a scan. It did not get better at the judgment call after. That's augmentation. The task changed. The job didn't disappear. Here's the part that deserves more attention than it gets. Even the people using this framework professionally don't always agree on where the line falls. A study of AI use inside an elite college classroom asked students and instructors to classify the exact same task. On most tasks, they agreed. On two of them, they split in opposite directions, using AI to find information and using AI to edit a draft. Students called both augmentation, help getting to their own work faster. Instructors, watching the identical behavior, called it automation, AI doing work the student was supposed to do themselves. Same task, same tool. Two credible judges, opposite labels. The distinction is real and useful, but it depends partly on intent, not just on what the software technically did. And intent is a genuinely harder thing to measure from the outside. Here's where that MIT report from last episode comes back in. 95% of corporate AI pilots failing wasn't really a story about bad technology. Look at MIT's own description of what separated the successful 5%. It maps onto exactly this line. The winners mostly bought a narrow tool for one specific back-office task, with a person still checking the output. That's augmentation, in other words. Most of the 95% that failed were reaching for something closer to full automation of an entire workflow. There was no comparably careful human check built in. MIT didn't use this language, but the pattern fits. If a connection like that changes how you read the next AI headline, subscribing means you don't miss the next one. Anthropic ran the numbers on their own AI products' real usage. 1 million actual conversations, classified by what people were actually doing with them. As of the index's first release, 57% looked like augmentation. That means a person iterating with the AI, checking its work, still deciding. 43% looked like automation, the task handed off directly, with little back and forth. That's the honest baseline. Most AI use today still keeps a person in the loop, but a real, meaningful share doesn't. And that's exactly where job risk actually concentrates. If you just placed your own job somewhere on this spectrum in your head, that's the honest reaction to have. Quick one in the comments: automate or augment? Here's the honest read. This distinction won't tell you whether AI is good or bad for the economy overall. That's a bigger, messier question. What it will do is give you one specific, useful question. Ask it about your own work or the next AI jobs headline you read. Is the AI replacing the task? Or is a person still deciding how it gets done? If you're doing the same job you did 2 years ago, just faster, that's augmentation. Radiologists and the workers inside Anthropic's own most augmented usage categories are the evidence that kind of job tends to hold up. Sometimes it even grows. If the task itself has quietly disappeared from your job description, that's the version worth taking seriously. It's what happened to a lot of professional translators. A UK survey found more than a third had lost work directly to generative AI, with income dropping for over 40% of those surveyed. Which side of that line is the AI in your own job actually on? Tell me the specific task, not just the job title. I want real examples for a follow-up episode. That's the frontier. Subscribe, and the next one lands in your inbox before anyone else's.